Hello, hello. Chris Bernard here, joining you from Doc 29 headquarters in lovely Florida, Tampa, Florida. We just completed a case study for a client. Let's see if I can flick this over for us here. We had a client, it's a B2B manufacturing client on the West Coast. They relied fairly heavily, like a lot of businesses do, on word of mouth and things like that. However, late to mid-October last year, they decided to go ahead and flip their website over from one basic CMS to another. And although the website looked okay in terms of its functionality and things like that, that decision cost them 40% of their business, because 40% of their leads were actually coming in through the web, right? So when they flip the switch over, you can see from the Google Search Console information, you can see where that occurred, actually somewhere around here. And literally the patient, in this case, this small B2B manufacturing company, had a little bit of signs of life and things like that. And then all of a sudden, really at the end of the day, the patient flatlined. And then all of a sudden you notice this uptick and things like that. So the client approached us about the website. Again, we didn't build the version 2 of this website. They made several critical mistakes. So just so you know where that started to come about in terms of this health, we decided to go get an old copy of the previous website that was working fairly well, even though it was very, very outdated, and got that back up, at least fired up. So you can, again, see the patient is now at least recovering in the right direction. We are in the process of building out that brand new website. But I did want to take you through just really quick in terms of some of the things that they did, or the website design firm that took the project over initially did not do, that they really needed to be able to do. So we're going to go through that. Mistake number one, at the end of the day, seriously, look at your analytics. Look at what's going on there in terms of what people are actually seeing and playing with and things like that. Make sure you know what's interesting to your guests, right? So that you can go ahead and make a place for those on your new website so that you don't lose them. When we did this, we basically, they went down about 20 or 30% in terms of their pages, but those pages that they left off were the ones with the greatest amount of traffic. So things like that, tremendously important. This provides a little bit of a checklist for you. They didn't do a market plan. They didn't even figure out in terms of who their best customers were, what they were most interested in terms of product, where they position themselves in terms of their competition. All these things that could have been done in order to build or bake into the new website that should have been there, so that they, one, not only do you not lose the traffic that you had, but you're actually making that guest experience far better, getting them to do what you like to do in terms of the funnel and things like that. Again, competitive analysis was very much missed. They didn't even give any thought process in terms of the mindset of their prospect coming into the funnel. They certainly, the CMS that they chose to use, they went from, I believe it was TypePad, to, and I forget the name of the CMS, but at the end of the day, it's a very powerful CMS in terms of programming and functionality. But essentially, if you wanted to build Facebook for less than $50,000, that was something that you could actually take advantage of and use. But this is a small B2B manufacturing company with no interest in terms of that functionality. Basically, the maximum part of their functionality really would be to go ahead and upload some spec documents to be able to get pricing from. So that's how simple it is. A very, very strong mismatch in terms of the CMS decision and the client's needs, right? So definitely need to be thinking about that stuff. Seriously, even things like 301 redirects, this company didn't even bother to do that. And again, where that traffic problem ended up coming, where this ended up really hitting hard, was not only was the previous ranking pages not being found, they had no home on the new website, but and nothing was submitted, obviously, with site maps or anything of that nature. But really, in terms of the actual foundational CMS, things like keywords, metadata, all that was not even given a consideration whatsoever. Finally, the last thing that you really want to be considering before you go ahead and make that jump to a new website would be to identify which keywords are there, right? So a lot of Google's estimator tools, a lot of the keyword tools and resources that we use come from Google, right? The only problem with that is Google's tools are designed to make Google money, not necessarily designed to make the biggest bang for the business, and certainly nowhere near to give the biggest bang for the buck. So one of the things that we do that we strongly encourage people to do is not just take Google's little estimates and build those out and say, oh, that must be biblical, we're going to go with that. But to take every possible keyword that somebody might type in to find your products and services and to test those in AdWords, to test them. So you're going, well, that list would be really, really long when I think about it. I mean, that could be hundreds of thousands of keywords with different variations and things like that. Isn't semantic search supposed to be able to take care of that? Yes, actually, that's probably true. But if you read any of the books in terms of how search works, in terms of AI technology and machine learning, it's asking us to put that data in on the front end in order for it to work well. So if we beat the AI tools to the punch, because those things take longer to kind of go through, right? You set these campaigns up, AI takes time, it has to test different things and different derivations of it. At the end of the day, if you put the information on the front end, guess what? You actually get the data a lot faster and it's a lot more accurate, and the tools don't have to take that time to run. You already know, because the keywords that you put in, whether it's a small mom and pop or manufacturing, I think we had 50 or 60,000 keywords that went live. On the average, and this is a B2B niche product, if you take any type of small business, start combining those with cities and things like that, your average keyword list is probably going to be 50, 60, 70, 100,000 words. Think about all the derivations of it and things like that. We always do phrase match. But at the end of the day, what you get after this is a really, really nice list. So let's say you snap your fingers, right? You have every possible keyword loaded up in Google AdWords, and you test that. You're going to see after that test runs a nice list of all the keywords that people actually typed into Google. Because every time somebody types something in and Google thinks it's appropriate, it pulls your ad into an impression, right? So the cool part about that is now you actually have impressions data with the actual keywords there, so that I'm sorry, I was just thinking about, wait, you guys haven't seen me. I'm just keeping on this page here. The nice thing about that is you actually have a list of keywords that people will you actually get a chance to see which keywords are firing, right? So there's no guessing. It's your product, your service, your marketplace. So that's really kind of a neat thing to be able to do. And just for fun, if you want, you can take that list, that audited test with all those keywords and things like that that are there. And what's nice about it is you can run those right into the estimator tool just for fun, and you're going to see where Google's missed, right? There's always a neat little challenge, right? You take your audited test, which is very, very accurate. It's your data, your information. It is audited. Trust it. It's really, really good. So you have that nice little list of all the keywords that actually ran in your marketplace for your products and services. And then you take that through the estimator tool and you go, wow, the number one on my list from the test was actually like 9, 10, 11 on the list in Google's estimator tool, right? And number 2 wasn't even there. Number 3 is there, but it's somewhere else on the list. And you go, well, that's just based on impressions. Whether you go after them or not, it's your story. But what's neat, if you take your test data, right, and you sort not by impressions, but you typically sort by cost per click, you're going to see some amazing kind of, similarities in that. So it's very, very fascinating to see how Google actually plays with the numbers, right? I hope that helps. Really don't make the same mistake. It is important before, as an executive, that you make these decisions well, because seriously, it could cost you a lot of money. I know this is not a huge client, but imagine losing 40% of your revenue. That's not good. And your rankings and things like that tremendously get hurt. There's no need for that kind of thing. If you need help kind of evaluating some of these things in terms of, when we jumped in, before we were even a client, we looked at that back end We said, there's certain things that are going to be good and there's certain things that are going to be costly. We could have made that conversation happen before they flicked live in October, even before that decision was made. We could have saved so much time and money in terms of this client. So again, if you're thinking about switching from one content management system to another, let us know. Give us a call. We'll walk through those considerations. The impact to your business could be significant. So don't make those same mistakes. Work with somebody that's kind of got some understanding of it. We don't, if for example, in that client space, if that client literally, if that CMS, the content management solution would have been fine for that client, we would have said, no, it's great. We just need to go ahead and do some other things like that. We don't really want to rebuild wheels, right? But in this situation, it was like, man, this is not going to work for you as a solution, period, end of story. I don't care how much it did or didn't cost you in terms of your business. You're going to be losing revenue, and it's simply not worth it. It's kind of a sunk cost at that point. So let us help you. Glad to be here for you. This is not my only video that we're going to be doing, so I apologize for being a little long and a little bit maybe not as good as it could be in terms of energetic or excitement, but we'll be doing more of these, so I'm going to become a little bit more efficient at it. So I appreciate it. If you have any questions in terms of SEO, website design, search marketing, consulting, market plans, right? All that stuff is available in our wheelhouse. So again, I'm a resource for you. My name is Chris Bernard, and look forward to hearing from you. Take care. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.